Hello and welcome to another episode of Live, Think, Grow. My name is ReginaOSilva and I help female coaches and lightworkers become full-time and thriving using spiritually infused mindset, marketing, and sales strategy. Now, I'm super stoked you're here like always, but today's a very special episode because it is rather controversial. And that is because I am going to share with you how plant medicine helped me scale to 100K plus. Now, I know that times are changing, thank goodness, but talking about plant medicine has often been taboo, psychedelics of that nature, but I'm here to break the barrier on that because plant medicine has actually been a really, really important part of how I've been able to get to where I am today, both in my spiritual growth, but also my growth as an entrepreneur, which is really just the same growth and the same path. So on today's episode, I will be sharing with you how I have experienced plant medicine and the ways in which it has shaped me and allowed me to call in all of the abundance in my coaching business. And keep in mind, little legal disclaimer here, this is all my experience. I am in no way, shape, or form telling you to do or not do anything. Just so you know that, YouTube, don't take this video down. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. So first off, let me talk about what I mean by plant medicine. It's what it sounds like, right? Medicine that comes from plants, so natural substances. In particular, I will be talking about my experience with mushrooms, which if you don't know me, I love mushrooms, like the psychoactive kind and the non-psychoactive kind. And my experience with San Pedro, which is grandfather spirit from the cactus plant, as well as marijuana. So, I don't like that word, marijuana. Sounds weird. I guess we'll just call it that for now. So first, my relationship with weed, I guess is what we'll call it. It started, sorry mom, first time I ever smoked, I was like 15 years old, but it wasn't very like intentional. And I've had an interesting relationship with it. But around like 2 years ago, so right when my like coaching business pretty much started really using it intentionally, because like everything, it does have a spirit connected to it. And so when you take time to really treat it like a ceremony, you can access higher realms of consciousness, allowing you to open up your channel to creativity and ideas and flow. So with weed, I have really, really been able to access like this deeper part of creativity that has allowed me to birth and create all of my like coaching offers that I've birthed. So I like to bring up the blueprint UCB, so many ideas for that offer and just the way that I run it, and all of the materials in there came from the plant medicine. And just so you know, the way that I would do it, right, first I pray to the actual like plant, and then I'll pack the bowl and I'll set an intention, like really like enter prayer, set an intention on what I'm like looking to create. So for that moment, it would be like, my intention is to connect to my creativity in order to really co-create with spirit this program. And so then I would set the intention, and then like just like freaking ideas would just like channel through, and I would write notes, and I would then like go back on those notes and like use them to create the actual tangible assets of my offer. And maybe you're thinking like, well, you don't need plant medicine to access creativity. That is true, but given today's episode, I'm just sharing with you specifically how plant medicine helped me, because I think that it's important for you to know like the reality of the way that I operate as a coach. So I'm so thankful for that intentional relationship that I created with weed, and every time I smoke, I am intentional about it, like really like tapping into why I feel the desire, and then the actual action of it being connected to an intention. And if you are also a weed user, I highly recommend infusing some of that intentionality, because it's going to really help you open up your channels as well and connect to that plant medicine, that spirit, that wisdom. So that's weed. I still intentionally use it all the time. Like I just really, really enjoy it. And yeah, it's just a great medicine to connect to. And it's also just being aware of the cases in which you are using any kind of medicine or substance to numb. Just want to throw that out there, right? There's a big difference when you're using it intentionally versus using it as a coping mechanism. So just check yourself if that's the case. So in terms of how then weed helped me scale to 100K plus, well, without it, UCB just wouldn't be what it is now, and it set off this chain of events. It's always been this powerful tool for me to connect to these out-of-box ideas that seem like freaking crazy, but then they're not, and then I implement them, and it's allowed me to take the plunge and get to where I am now. So now let's talk about mushrooms. Oh my goodness. So I have a very deep connection with the mushroom spirit. If you haven't yet watched Fantastic Fungi, it's a documentary about the power of the fungi, I guess it's plural, right? Power of fungi. So highly recommend it. It will change your life. And so the first time that I ever intentionally took mushrooms was when I was on my backpacking trip. Again, if you haven't watched my story yet, go watch it. It's the episode right before this one. And I was in Thailand, and I got to experience just a little microdose of the medicine, and I was on a beach, and the entire like clouds just opened up in this like tunnel vision vortex. I saw visions of my ancestors. I received like so many like energetic downloads of my soul's path in that moment. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that wasn't even really like deeply going in. And then I had a really deep solo inward experience where I intentionally, again, ceremonially sat with the medicine. And when I tell you, I was always like suffering from anxiety before that. When I tell you after this ceremony, I have never experienced anxiety the same way. I kid you not. Like that, from that moment onwards, I was able to understand everything. It's really hard to explain unless you experience it, but it's like you are seeing the future, the past, and the present all in the same moment. And I was able to move through so many layers of trauma that I was going through at that time that I just like understood everything. So spiritually, I wouldn't be where I am without mushroom medicine, and that affects my business because I've created this business from my soul spirit, and now I'm teaching other people to do the same. So it's this like huge ripple effect. And since then, I have sat many, many times with mushrooms, always gained such valuable insight and like downloads and channels that I then pass on to all of you. Like literally almost not all of my content. Yeah, literally all of it is channeled from source, like bringing you things. Like, yes, maybe more of the strategical, tactical stuff is a little bit more like logic minded, but a lot of like the concepts I'm sharing with you are channeled, and a lot have come through mushroom ceremonies. Just a fun little fact. Not all of them, but like a lot of them have. And so every step of the way in my business, as I've had to overcome limiting beliefs to keep me from even becoming a 6-figure plus coach, the mushrooms have taught me a deeper part of myself and really allowed me to see the ego and become aware of the ego's role and what was holding me back. So that's how mushrooms have had a profound effect, and I totally believe in microdosing. It has just increased my life so much, and I'm really thankful for mushrooms. And then lastly, I want to talk about San Pedro and how it helped me become a 6-figure plus coach and everything that I've accomplished. And I've only sat with it one time. And again, it's really hard to explain these experiences, but I'll do the best that I can. I totally felt an ego death. Just completely, there was no separation of you and me and of the plant and of the trees and of the wind. I was everything and nothing at the same time. One of the most profound experiences of my entire life, for sure. And from there, I was able to understand, like, at the end of the day, none of this really matters. But at the end of the day as well, because none of it matters, we have a playground to create anything that we desire. And that is on an individual and collective level. And that the only time that exists is the here and now. I'm literally getting goosebumps as I'm sharing this with you. So I'm hoping that you're feeling this energy. And it just reminds you perspective, like, yes, it's amazing. Create that thriving business. Go for your dreams. Like, do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, be present with it all, no matter where you are in the journey, because it is the only time that exists. It really is. So with that lesson, I was able to really hone in on this path that I've taken for myself and find this newfound trust in that whatever is meant for me is mine, and that it's all inevitable. So as long as I'm living from my soul and being present, that everything that I desire will come to me. I'm getting goosebumps again, so I'm hoping that you are feeling this as well. So, a little bit of a non-traditional episode today, but I'm all about breaking rules and breaking barriers. So I hope by watching this episode, you are not only receiving a better understanding of who I am, but you're also widening the scope of what it means to really co-create your life and business with spirit. And look, it just got brighter in this room as I'm saying this. So I'm hoping that you're feeling inspired, and I hope that you'll stick around for more yummy, real content just like this. If you haven't yet, click subscribe below so you never miss a beat. And keep your eyes open, because I am going to be launching a free masterclass just for you. So keep your eyes out on Instagram. You're gonna wanna find out how to get in on this, because you are gonna get a chance to receive free masterclass training, a live free masterclass training from me. And if you're at all feeling called to work together, I also wanna let you know that I have pre-enrollment open for UCB, my blueprint program. And I'm currently pre-enrolling for my mastermind program as well. And I'm still accepting applications for a VIP one-on-one seat. So if you want to work together, click the link below. You'll see which category is best for you. And until next week, happy living.